So if you guys have watched this channel before, you've probably heard me talk about the break and retest, how I find my entries intraday on some shorter term trades. However, in today's video, I want to talk about how you can use that same strategy, the break and retest, on some longer term levels, longer term analysis, and how to potentially set up swing trades using the break and retest on a larger term time frame. I figured that some traders out there can't take full advantage of the break and retest on the shorter term time frames, having a 9-to-5 job, not being able to watch the market on an intraday basis. I figured that this video would help some of you out there that want to still set up trades, don't want to have to actively manage these trades, but still want to find a strategy with good risk to reward on some larger term time frames. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys some setups that are actually happening right now as I make this video, break and retests on the 4-hour, on the hourly chart that you could set up, not actively manage, and have a good risk to reward. Quick disclaimer, this video is being made on January 25th. That is a Wednesday. I am releasing this video on January 26th on a Thursday. I will be traveling, but I wanted to make this video so that we could look at these setups now, and when you watch this video tomorrow, the 26th of Thursday, you'll see whether the setups we talked about actually did work out and whether these break and retests did work. Now, of course, we are heading into earnings season, so there's going to be a lot of volatility. Technicals can be invalidated, so do remember that when we look at these setups. Let's say there's an earnings that's negative that causes the market to drop. That is something that you can't really defend against when you're having a technical strategy like the break and retest. So we're going to start this video off on AMD. This was actually a setup I shared on my Twitter, my Instagram. Today is Wednesday, January 25th. As I'm making this video, you will see the tweets that I put out and what this was looking like intraday today on Wednesday. This is a very good example of a 4-hour break and retest, a strategy that you can use on a larger term analysis, larger term time frame, set up a swing trade, set up something that you don't have to actively manage with a good risk to reward that you can sort of monitor and keep an eye on as the market trades, but you don't need to watch it on a 1-minute basis. So looking at this chart, what am I looking at here, right? What has gone on this chart that makes me interested? Where is the break and retest occurring? Well, right here, you guys can see we have this 7250 level. This 7250 level has stemmed back from early November, mid-November. You can see we had previous support in this area on AMD. Now, recently, you can see that we came up into that level and we rejected it, right? So we turned that previous support right here into a rejection level right here at 7250. Now, over the last few days, if I go ahead and zoom in here on this short-term look, over the last few days, you can see that AMD has broken above that 7250 level. Now, if you're a swing trader, if you're someone that doesn't want to actively manage the position, this breakout should interest you, but it should not get you into the trade. What you are looking for when you see a stock aggressively break a previous high here is you are looking for the retest. Now, whether you're short-term trading or swing trading, you're really looking for the same thing. You're not looking to scalp this upside. You're not looking to chase this upside. You should be looking to see if AMD breaks this previous high, which it did right here this is on Monday, January 23rd. Okay, it broke it out. Now, let me see when it pulls back. Let me be patient. Let me wait for my setup to form. As you guys know, trading is probably 95% patience. Don't chase that move. Wait for the pullback. This is a 4-hour chart. Remember that. So you have that pullback over the next 2 days, and look at where we pulled back to. This is a break of a previous high, a retest of that previous high, and you can see that we held support right there at 7250 today. So let's say you're watching the market maybe every hour, every 2 hours, and you spot this retest level. Or let's say you're doing your due diligence and the day before you saw that AMD broke out and you saw that, okay, let me look to see when it pulls back. Maybe I go ahead and I set up an alert. Right? I'll right click here, create an alert. Let me know when AMD comes back near that 7250 level, at or below, and I'll set my alert at that level. Maybe that alert goes off. If you would have had that alert, it would have went off today. You can quickly pop onto your phone, know that you have that retest setting up, knowing that you have that potential trade entry, setting that trade up with a good risk to reward. So let's say you got that alert, you saw the retest potentially happening, you have the idea of playing that break and retest, looking for upside. Where do I place my stops? How am I sort of managing this entry point? What am I going to do to set up this swing trade? In my opinion, let's say you came back down, you started to hold this 7250. Let's say you had a push off that level, and now you have some area to go ahead and start to enter this position after you see that confirmation of that 7250 hold. So hypothetically, hypothetically, let's say AMD is trading around this $73 range right here. $73 is where you see that AMD is trading. It bounced off my 72.50 retest. I know that we now have support there at that 72.50, that previous high turning into support here on Wednesday, the January 25th. So after you see that entry, your risk to reward is now very clean. You can see right here, what I would use in this scenario is I would use the recent lows right here. This would be my stop loss, and my risk, if I was to get in at 73, would be right here, right? So I'm going to set this trade up. I'm going to get in at 73. I know that I have my retest level there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this red to signify our risk. You can see if we got in at 73, I'm going to risk the lows of today. That is where I don't want to see this stock down below, because if it's back below these lows of this day, then that retest is no longer there. That strategy is no longer valid. My risk to reward, I need to go ahead and get out of that trade because it did not hold the lows. So we had the break and retest. We found a little bit of a bounce off that retest level. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter at that 73 level, and I'm going to look for that upside continuation. So if we zoom back out on the 4-hour chart, you can see this is our risk right back down below the lows of 72. That is our risk. We're risking about $1 per point. And if we zoom out on the 4-hour chart, where is our target reward, right? In my opinion here, you would want to be targeting the next high here. So my target here, if I was to get in at 73, is I would be targeting up to this 78.50 with the swing trade. That is offering you probably just about a 4-to-1 risk to reward. Stop under 72. My next target would be the highs of around 78.50. This is a break and retest that is potentially setting up, as I make this video, previous highs into support today, a strong bounce off that level. Next high is up here around 78.50. Here is your risk to reward scenario, risking about $1 per point for just about 5 points. 73 to 78 is 5 points. That's 5-to-1 risk to reward, and you're risking $1 to potentially get into this trade. For me, that is a trade all day, and this is a setup that I would love to take. Now, you might have questions, what strike price, etc., etc. In my opinion, in a trade like this, you want to have at least 2 weeks of time, probably stay close to the money. So in my opinion here, I would take either a February monthly contract, a 73 strike, or let's say a March monthly contract, the 73 strike as well in this scenario. So a February monthly 73, a March monthly 73. You have your risk to reward here about a 5-to-1, risking to get 5 points, risking 1 point to get 5. That is a really nice setup here in my opinion. That's a type of swing trade that I would be willing to take. Of course, it's not a 100% guarantee that it's going to work, but that is the type of trade that I would be looking for. You've taken advantage of that pullback. You did not chase that original breakout. It came back down to the previous high. It held the previous high, set that trade up with a good risk to reward. AMD is the first example that I wanted to share with you today. Now, here's another example for you. Not a stock that I would typically trade, but this is Square. You guys can see right here, SQ, or if you want to call it block. This is a setup, again, on a break and retest on a longer-term time frame. This is the 4-hour time frame. You guys can see here we had a previous high around this 75 level. We had another previous high around this 75 level. And if we zoom in here on the short term, you can see once again another rejection at that 75 level right here. Now on Friday and into Monday of this week, you got the breakout, right? The breakout that a lot of people will chase on. They'll look for that breakout, they'll chase the breakout, and when it pulls back, they'll get stopped out, they'll get panicked out, they won't want to be a part of the trade anymore. But you are the one that stays patient. You do not trade the breakout, you wait for the retest. The retest of the previous high, the retest that happened perfectly today. We pulled back to that 75 level, had a huge wick bounce off that 75 level. You set up your trade. In this example, it's pretty much already happened in a single day, but this could have happened over a few days. This could have been a fantastic swing trade. So you have this previous high here, you have a break, you have a retest, you wick off that previous high, you set up the trade here, and you look for that upside. So I'll do that same type of walkthrough here on Square. Let's say you had that 75 level marked out. You wanted to see if it would hold. Let's say you did some due diligence. That was a retest level that you were looking for. You saw here about 15-30 minutes into the market that we started to hold that level, and we started to get that push off that level. Let's say for hypotheticals, you found this trade at around 76, and you started to see that this break and retest was setting up. In this scenario, once again, I would use the lows, right? Using those lows as my stop loss. So risking just about 1 point, maybe down to 75. You're saying to yourself, okay, I want to be in this trade as long as this stays above 75. So you're signifying your risk here with the red area. That is our dollar risk. That is our risk when we put on this position. I'm getting in at 76. I know that we have a break and retest here. I know that we have a previous high at this 75 level. It has proven to me that support has set up there, and now I want to look for that upside trade, risking about $1 on the underlying to get that upside potential move. In this situation, in this break and retest on SQ, we got just about a move all the way up to 81 from 76. That is a 5-point move for a $1 risk. That is a fantastic risk to reward right there. And if we do zoom out, if Square is to continue on this break and retest, and this is actually a very strong move, I would say you could even target up to these recent highs around this 82 area, and maybe even further if this does break this previous high. Again, if we zoom out, this is a perfect previous high double top and even a triple top that went ahead, we broke out, we pulled back to it, and we held it as a perfect support. Again, another fantastic swing trade entry. This is perfect for someone that does not want to manage their trades on an intraday basis. You set up that trade, you put your risk in there, you make sure to monitor this position every few hours, making sure that things are looking okay, but you do not need to watch this on a 1-minute chart. You set up that trade, you have that risk to reward, you have your trade plan, and then you let the market work. The last thing that I want to share with you in this video is how perfectly this has worked on the QQQ over the last few weeks. You guys can see right here that we had a previous high around this 275 area on the Qs. Previous high, and again, a previous high. Right here, we broke above it, we came back down, we held it as support. You can see we had a break, we had a retest here, but the better retest was even here last week on Thursday into Friday. This is a perfect break and retest of the previous highs. If you would have set up a trade here, maybe risking about 1 or 2 points with that idea of moving back into those highs, that is a fantastic risk to reward right there. That is a perfect break and retest. And if I look into what's going on as we speak today, look at what's going on right here. A perfect break and retest once again today. You have a breakout, you have a retest of the previous high. Maybe some of you have set up some long calls on QQQ here. If you did, I think you are absolutely correct. That is a break and retest. That is a potential long entry that has good risk to reward that you don't have to manage on an intraday basis. So I wanted to make this video just to give you some insight on what I believe you should be looking for if you are looking to swing trade this market. If you don't want to be actively managing positions, even if you are an active trader, you can still set up these trades with something that you have a little bit of time on, that you don't need to be so stressed about every single minute of the day, and sort of set up these overall trades with good risk to reward, a good strategy, and a plan that you can actually follow using the technical analysis here. Now, again, we are in earnings season. There's a lot of things going on. There's economic news. There is always something that can make this analysis go wrong. If this was a perfect strategy, everyone would be using it. We know that the economic news, we know that the earnings calendar can mess this type of strategy up. It is a technical strategy, and technicals can be invalidated during these large macroeconomic events. As long as we focus on our risk management, as long as we set up these trades with an actual risk to reward, making sure that we follow that risk to reward, you can ensure yourself that you're not going to blow up your account. A loss here, if you stick to the actual strategy, is a very small loss for a very large gain. So guys, again, this video is being made on Wednesday the 25th. You're going to watch it on Thursday the 26th. So let me know how some of this goes, right? The setups that we talked about today, AMD Square, let's see what happens there. Again, on the QQQ as well, a break and retest there as well. Let's see how those follow through. Comment down below how they followed through. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. If you did enjoy it, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.